My name's Lorin Fawcett, and this is my wife, Juanita. We run a sheep and cattle operation as a family, and we've been doing it for a long time. We run our base ranch here in Summit County, which is 14 miles down I-80 from Evanston, Wyoming. Our ranch has the notoriety of being on the Pioneer Trail. Being on the Pioneer Trail, we have a historical site called Cache Cave. It has been open and shut to the public for so many years, but because of the historical significance, I have decided that with the family's support, we open it up one day a year to the public so that they can come up if they would so choose and see the historical significance. And most of the significance of the historical site would be found in their genealogies. Really significant because it was one of the camping spots for the plains, or for the pioneers as they come across the plains, that where they could take from the cache or add to the cache, because they knew that at that time that it was not only that, not only the cave significant, but the other significant part of the Cache Cave is I'm in an 8th year drought. Look at the water. I haven't got very much, but I've got a lot more than most places. Look at the meadows. Now you want history. The first murder trial in the state of Deseret territory was committed over on one of these meadows. You've got people that's and their genealogies and have people that are buried at Cache Cave. If you want to go to the Utah War, and Orrin Porter Rockwell is predominant. This is one of his favorite camping spots. When Wilford Woodruff was called to be an apostle, he was on his way through and he had whiteout conditions. He credits Cache Cave with preserving his life. Whether that's a true statement or not, I don't know. I had several years ago, three prominent people from different universities come and tell me how to preserve this cave. And they come up here and I sat right there and they discussed it and they says, well, you know, you really ought to preserve this. I says, yeah, I guess. And then they discussed in amongst themselves how to preserve it. I can't remember everything that was said, but the one guy says, you need the wind and everything's destroying it. You need to block it off from the wind. And they said, but then you've got to have an airtight fixture otherwise. And then they says, but if you do that, you will make it so that any outside air that comes in when you come in would destroy everything. Oh, well, there's no use burying it. And the other guy says, oh, it's the sandstone that's escaping. You need to have it painted. And the one guy says, yeah, if you paint the cave, you paint the sandstone, that destroys all the authenticity.
Just leave it alone.
And they went, and they went, and they went. And they discussed it among themselves for probably 45 minutes. And we was walking down there, and I was leading him, and then he says, Lorin, we're kind of leading experts in our field. And I says, yeah. Continue to do what you're doing. You have preserved the cave better than any of us can come up with a way that can preserve it. I thought that was a pretty good compliment. I had another guy that visited Cache Cave from North Carolina. he was after the genealogical society that came up, and they had got wind that I was open in the cave, and so he came up, he and his wife, and I'd just been operated on, so Trent was up here, that's my son, and he says, he yelled down, and he says, "Dad, you really ought to talk to this guy, he's interested." And so I went down there, and I says, "So, what'd you think of Cache Cave?" And he said, "Oh, it's remarkable." And he says, "That ought to be a national monument." And I says, "Well," and I explained property rights. And he says, "I can understand where you're coming from." And I says, "So, you was impressed by it?" "Yeah, I was really impressed. I still think it ought to be a monument." And I says, "Oh, the wind's destroying it, and there isn't anything I can do." He says, "Oh, you've done a remarkable job of taking care of it. Continue to do what you're doing." I says, "So do you have ancestors that come across on the Mormon Pioneer Trail?" "Who are the Mormons?" "The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints?" "I've never heard of them." I says, "How come you're up here?" "Oh, I just got told I should be up here." I said, "Well, I don't know what religion it was." He didn't mention. But he says, "Continue to do what you're doing." I says, "The names are falling apart." And he says, "Don't worry about it. You have been a caretaker. The Lord has placed there to take care of it. Those names will remain as long as the Lord has a purpose for them to remain. They'll be there." I had a family reunion that was up here, and they had an ancestor that was born here in Cache Cave. And I says, "No, I don't think she was born here. The camp was down there. They wouldn't come here." It says in the journal that they came up to Cache Cave, and then a midwife held a blanket in front of the cave for privacy and to protect them from the elements. I says, "If that's where it says in the journal, she was born in Cache Cave." And then they asked me an interesting question. And I was sitting on that rock right there. And they says, "Do you think we can find that name?" I says, "I don't know why." I says, "I think it's over here on this wall." And pretty soon I heard a shriek that they had found the name. And then it was clear as date. I had the date there. And then they says, "Oh no, it's not ours. It's the wrong date." And then we got they turned to me and they says, "That was the right date. This is going to help us in our genealogy immensely." We was going by the date of when they left the east, and so we had figured that date, and it was a year later. This is going to help us in our genealogy. The dangest part about that is I can't remember the name, and I haven't been able to find the name or date ever since. More history than I can tell you. In his journal, that's who it is.
Yeah.
I don't claim the authenticity of any of these names.